Oh, all right, brother. Shalom, shalom. How you doing?
Shalom, all is well.
Yeah. We are back in the saddle after an exciting, if you say July. It was awesome, and all of the guests. We appreciate that. If you, we all say brothers and sisters related in the things of the covenant. But I'm so grateful that those had opportunity to come on, and we're looking forward to more to do that. So the next time we do it, of course, we have some of the mighty men of Yah. Of course, they would be at work or getting off and all of that thing. So I think in the future, even we'll have the little ones on, and I may have to sort of like maybe pre-record it, and then I could be it still could be live in the sense of, and then I can bring it up. It's just, that's a possibility that I could do that and enjoy those things together. And so we got some different things in the works, different ideas that we're going to do, to help one another, to encourage one another, and that's what it's all about. So those are the things that, excuse me, we need to continue to do in our lives. And so all of to see the expression and the walk and different places where the people are at, it's good. It's always good. And knowing that where we are, we can also magnify and lift up the Father, and that's what we want to do. So, and
Yeah.
hopefully that gave you a little break as well, huh? Did you had a chance to watch some of that, or would you
Oh yes,
sleep, or were you sleep in the corner somewhere? Which one was that?
I watched every single one. I saw them all. It was
Yeah, it was good.
testimony and everything that everyone had to say. Definitely encouraging.
Yeah. It was awesome time, and even had your wife as well. I think she was at the end there, and that was awesome. And it was a lot of them. Like I say, the different schedules just wasn't. It's not gonna, when you have one day. So a lot of people couldn't get that one day in order to be live. So that's when I decided next time, those that can or something like that, maybe we'll do a pre. Just some thoughts in that, and kind of put it up and different things like that. Also, as we going into the feast days, I want to even maybe record some different areas of the feast days and kind of share them something that can build somebody up, and excitement of that, and something that we definitely enjoy, and all of that. A lot of struggles, but we do get through it.
Yes,
And
sir.
yeah, I appreciate that. That's for sure. So just thank the Father and all of you that took out time to be with us again, and even let me see here, even live, and appreciate that. That's always good in that. Well, we was going to talk about can a fig tree produce olives? So now there's so many thoughts and teachings and different things on the olive tree, and we'll tell you what our focus is tonight. And it's not the only focus, but it can be a focus. So we'll kind of open it up, and maybe we won't be as long, hopefully, but we can just get some ideas and tap in some different thoughts and different things that we can work on and run in our hearts. So that's something that we desire to do, and that's something that we can do, and that's always important in that. So I'm grateful for that. So all of those things are putting together. Let me see if I can. Yeah, we can see most of that on there. It's kind of. Let me go to the third. Maybe this one here. We'll find out what's going on. Let me move this over. Okay, that'll be good. And let's do it this way. That way, I'm trying to capture. There it is. I'm trying to capture most of the scripture that is on there. Of course, we'll start in the James chapter 3. And I kind of, maybe we'll kind of jump around a little bit, but one of the things that was a thought process too of reading some things and thinking about the kingdom and how the kingdom has begun, but we are looking forward to much, much, much more. Is that right? We're looking forward to much, much more, even if it's in our day, or if it's not in our day. Then we still awaiting those things, right? We're still awaiting those things. Let me move this up a little bit. We still awaiting those things, and in the process, when we look at it, we're looking at when Yeshua had told us some things, right? And many times, like in verse 11, I want the focus to be probably 12 and 13. But does a fountain send forth sweet and bitter from the same opening, right? So the thing is to be clear of where we're going, and one another's life, uh, you know, because the fruit that you produce, of course, is the tree that you are, and all of us are trying to come from the same, say, foundation or in covenant with the Most High. So this is what we're looking at, and trying to address those things in our lives. And can a fig tree produce the olives? It's like what you are, and this is the basics, like what you are is what you're going to produce. But it needs to be understanding that you can't, in the middle of it, you can't change to an olive tree, right? If you're a fig tree, that's what you are. You're a fig tree. You really have to tamper with it. Sometimes we call what cross breeding or cross, seeding and all that. You can do that, but you would have to do that, right? Because the seed only produce what it is. So a fig tree cannot produce olives in order for you to produce olive trees, right? In that olive vines and all those things, right? And so this is, very, very important when we think about that. And in that, verse 12, and my brothers, is a fig tree able to bear olives, or a grapevine figs? And so this is important here. And neither is a fountain able to make salt and sweet water. So you're going to get them in this particular instance. You're going to get one or the other, you know. And I think this is what you sort of briefly understood or had mentioned is who is wise and understanding among you. That's a place to park in that. So that question there, my brother, and this is kind of, you didn't know I was going to put it in your corner that quickly, but when you see that and when you read that, and of course we can't get all of the context, and we always encourage everyone to read the chapters, the whole book if you have to get that. But it is referring to a specific situation and trying to get us to think about it, you know. So when you look at who is wise and understanding, of course there's more to that verse, but I'm gonna let you give your understanding about that, my brother. What you thinking?
Yeah. So that more thanks.
Yes, sir.
You threw me right in the fight.
Yeah,
You
right,
know.
right in there. Yeah, go to swinging.
Yes, sir. And praise God. Thank you, Abba. I did. So what was awesome about this? I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. Let him show. So I love that because I think in our world today, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom it's kind of all getting pushed together. And
Mm-hmm.
someone
Mm-hmm.
learned, or someone who's well read, or even a scholar of sorts, sometimes gets looked at in this place of wise and understanding. But we should be looking like for what he's bringing out here is let him show. So it's not so much about in the instance of the increase of information, which is good, and I think we all need to know what we need to know. There's a lot to know, but I've fallen into it to where I thought a bunch of information was equivalent with the doing. The proof of the wisdom is in the doing. So, for me, all of that stems from the fear of Yah. So if you don't fear the Father, what you know, what the understanding you might have, what the wisdom it is, and even this good behavior, it's all going to be put on display. So I'm looking at it in the sense of I, an individual who's wise and understanding in the Most High will be obvious. It won't be about them doing, 3 hour teaching. Or like you said, if we were to really crack open this thing about the fig tree, it's going to go all over the place. The fig
Yeah.
tree, it's all throughout the word. And someone who could bring that out, that's good. But that doesn't equate to wisdom, though. The wisdom is going to be in these fruit of good behavior, of meekness. So I'm looking at it in that sense, like the person who can bring out a calm spirit, have the,
Mm-hmm.
have them.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a person who I believe would fit this description of a wise and understanding person who's showing it in good behavior and meekness. Because a wise man told me just because you can answer doesn't mean you have to. You don't have to answer everything, but sometimes we have this tendency to like prove everybody or show everybody or talk about every little topic, but talk is cheap, as people say. So I'm,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it that an individual who fits this description here is a person whose life is on display, who they're not the individual that is hopping in between two opinions. They have a solid foundation.
Mm-hmm.
They're straight with their understanding. They're not, like you said, switching up in the middle, because that happens a lot. They started off in a good place and they'll
Yeah.
finish
Yeah.
in a good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much where that comes out to me, which I think should be something that's obvious. Like when you're in a class, the teacher is the one standing up, bringing out the understanding and bringing an education towards the students by what they know, by what they're doing. They're able to teach you. Not the student is teaching the teacher. I think sometimes that's what it is. The student. I got the textbook too, but it doesn't matter. I still need somebody to tell me what it says, how I can put it into my life. So that's how it works for me. Of course, there's another level to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like you said, when it's saying who is the wise and the understanding among you. So the ones that is in this conversation, or what we are saying, let him show, like you were saying, but it is this is important. His good behavior, right? In works, in works, in works, and meekness of wisdom. So if you are wise, then you are a person that shows a behavior that is good, right? That is good. And then among the wisdom, you have to have the meekness of that, right? And so when he was say talking about those fig trees, there's one thing about the fig tree, and then if I kind of revert back to the kingdom, is the figs comes before the leaves, and that's an awesome thing because the kingdom has begun, but we are waiting for the fullness thereof, So we have I like to say a down payment now, right? But we're gonna come into a fullness of that. So it's just that we see the figs now, right? Because the figs come out first, and that fruit, the fruit of the kingdom, is there, and it's want to be able to work through us. And so one of the things we have to understand and be real with ourselves is what fountain, if I use that, what fountain? So are you a sweet or are you salty? You know. And these days they got candy and stuff that goes together, sweet and salty, huh? But you can be sweet or salty. Other words, it's gonna be one way. You're going one direction, right? You going one direction because we are trying to bring forth fruit. And that fruit is of the Ruach, of the Spirit, right? And so your tree of what you got to do should be the same. But when we're talking about the wisdom from above, we're talking about a good behavior, right? In works. So that means you're doing something in the meekness. So understanding that a wise person, they always find themselves in a place of meekness and wisdom, you know. It's sort of like you know what you know. You don't have to prove what you know. You know what you know, right? And you know that by your good works, in that. So many a times, you remember when the Mashiach, one of the things they said that should we look for another, right? And he said, well, look at the very works. Then he said one time, well, what good works are you going to stone me for, right? What good are you going to do that for? And so, like I say again, a wise person in that, and when we're thinking about the fruit of that, okay, take the memory on it is going a little, the fruit of that, right? Let me see here. This is again in Luke chapter 21. See, Son of Man said, and then they seen the Son of Man in the cloud and the power. Okay. And when these matters begin to take place, it looked up and lift up your heads because your redemption draweth nigh. He went right into a parable, of course, and he spoke a parable to them. Look at the fig tree and all the trees. That's what he want us to do, right? And so we have to be willing to be able to look to see the signs of the kingdom, right? Is what I'm putting into this, right? To look and see the signs. So the figs are prevalent. They are there, right? And so that lets you know that this is what we need to produce in that. We need to produce those things, right? And so we have to be a people to observe it, know when the temperature and the weather and all of those things are come, because it's very, very important in those that we know where we are at this time. And we are in a spot. Believe me, we are in a spot. When we look around, all of us, we know that those things are drawing near. We getting closer to the end or even getting closer to the fulfillment. Let me put it that way. Even more of the kingdom, right? And the Messiah coming back and establish some things. So those are the things that we're looking at in that. And it is very, very important in that. One of the things also is in Matthew chapter 6 that I wanted to bring out, that, we have to know that when he taught us to pray, he said, pray this way. He said, our Father who is in the heavens, let your name be set apart, right? And that is very important. Let the rain come. That's what we want. Right in there, we want the rain to come. In other words, we want the kingdom to come. And then let your desires, right, be done on the earth as it is in the heavens, right? That's what we want. And in all of that, when he left many times when you look at it, or if you look over this prayer, you don't see maybe some of the things that we have today when people thinking about prayer. There's no repetition there. There's not saying nothing over and over and over and over again, right? It gives us a destination of what we need to do, And so he's saying to give us our daily bread. So you know that we're going to receive the daily bread because it's there. We have to be ones that forgive our debts, and to forgive our debtors, So we have to be able to do that, and knowing that we can be led into trials, right? But he is able to deliver us from that. He is able to deliver us. So that's a focus, no matter how if you say it or bring it down. But even in that, many times I looked at this one time, brother, and I said, there is no, I don't see no, what we would call today the prosperity or nothing else in that, right? It said the rain come. That's the reign of the kingdom, right? And that is in our heart. That should be in our heart. So this is a place of wisdom, wise, and understanding. And this is where we need to be, in that. And so these are the things that we should be asking the Father. Those are the things we should be asking him. So if you thinking of yourself or putting yourself as the olive tree or rather the fig tree, you can only be one or the other. So I guess that's my point in saying some of those things in that. So, brother, I'm going to let you get in there very quickly again and see if you have something to say on this particular scripture here or however you want to go.
I really like the point that you brought up. That's always been the lesson for me is there's an order. Mm-hmm. And I love how the first thing he did was exalt the Father. And I like what you pointed out as well, because that's something I didn't notice. Because typically we make a million requests. We're probably going to say it about 6 different ways, But Yah knows. I think plenty of times it'll say involving certain events. This isn't something for everyone, but certain mm-hmm. events. It'll say while they were still speaking. So. So there's plenty of times, why an individual is making this request, they didn't even finish making it. And it's already something that's coming in the past. So I really do have this in my heart, like what you're saying. These things are very specific, and this is what we need, And I like how the Messiah is bringing out, this. It's so good. It's just so mm-hmm. good for me because we can get distracted. But when it's all said and done, these are the things we should be thinking about. Are we in good standing with all man? Mm-hmm. We're concerned with the needs, not the wants. Because I look at the daily bread situation as a need situation, and the Father will give us those things we need. We need the clothing, the shelter, the provision, or whatever, but it's all necessary. This bread, this daily bread. But I really also like what you brought out with back in Luke. About what the master was saying when he told us to observe the fig tree. And mm-hmm. I like that. Put it in on us, but you're like, the fruit comes. So I had to take a look at it about when you were the fruit. And I like that because that's what draws us in. Nobody goes up to a barren fruit tree, to observe its leaves.
Right, exactly.
heavy with fruit. That's what draws us in. And out here we've got peaches. We got a lot of peaches. So there's a peach tree almost a lot of people's yards. So I could see them, from my house if the peaches are on the tree or whatever. So I love that, because when we apply that to the kingdom mindset, those should be the things that draw us in. What? I saw someone who was wise and understanding. They weren't hot, or they weren't flipping in between hot and cold. They were truthful in their ways. They were honest. Every time I met them, they were all in character. And I love that, because like you said, we got to pick one or the other. Are we sweet or are we salty? Because when it's all said and done, those things are the impressions we're leaving in the relationships we have. I like how you brought that out in the beginning, in the sense, like, what am I presenting? Am I presenting bitterness or sweetness? Because people are going to respond to me based upon that. They're going to be, oh, he's just going to tear us down, so nobody say nothing. Or is it going to be, yes, Sid is always encouraging, or he's always building us up.
Right.
So I think
right.
that we should really pay attention to, and that's what was really getting me, because the fruit is what's going to draw people in. And I don't know many people that are that are happy and they just look like they're eating a lemon. So even a smile can be a fruitful situation. And I like what you said in all that. So it was definitely really good. So I'm excited to see what's next.
Yeah. Well, we like you were saying, that the whatever we can do is whatever we producing is, it's I want to say easy. That's what you do. You don't have to produce the olives. You just be the figs, you know.
Yeah.
And there's times in my life I want it to be an olive. Then one day I see a peach. I see how they look. I want to be like that. The apple. I see how that look. I want to be like that. And and you got a mixture of things. And the only thing I had to do is relax and produce. I can only produce one thing. And like you were saying, that if you are carrying the bitterness, then that's all you can produce, at that time. And you have a time to change, in that, right? So whatever you putting forth, that's what you are doing at that time. When I'm trying to relate it, say in this format of us being, in covenant with the Father, and using this as a metaphor in that, I'm trying to tie that in, because the fig tree, right? Once you looking at it, is where I was trying to go, is it's going to tell us something as we look at other things, like in Luke, and then it says 31. And when you see these matters take place, know that the reign of Elohim is near, right? So the things are taking place. Sometimes we need to know that those things are near. That's what, they have to happen. These things have to happen. But we are looking at the fig trees, right? Other words, I'm using this as we looking at the fruit to trying to see what's going on. And then what fruit that the people are carrying is going to let us know how closer we are getting to the fullness of the kingdom come. That our heart is there for the shalom of things. But if we look around us, that just lets us know the intenseness of it. Let us know that it's even drawing nearer to us, in that. So those of us that are honoring the things of the Father, we have to make sure, though, that we are not, a fig tree and trying to produce olives. That's where I'm going at that. And knowing that we can continue to walk in the things of the Father, and that we can do it. And that's what's important, that we can do it. And, if you are in covenant with the Father, that's how you walk, right? That's how you walk. That's the wisdom of it. That's how you walk. There's no other way to produce anything else but the fruit, the long suffering, the love, all of those things are there, And in the metaphor of what kind of tree are you, you're going to have to make that decision. I know what kind of tree we should be, but what kind of tree are you? Then we have to make that decision on how we want to do that, in that. So it's very, very important that we, know that and all of those things. I had another scripture here, and I was Luke 13, and it of course in verse 5 it says, "And I say unto you, no, but unless you repent, you shall all perish in the same way." And then he said he spoke another parable, and I'm thinking about the tree again, but this was okay. If somebody's looking at this, I'm taking this and just drawing the line of the title that where we are at. A certain man had a fig tree, and he planted in a vineyard, and he came seeing fruit on it and found none. And I want to take this because, we're going to always look for the fruit because we always want to be fed. And the way that we be fed is from each other. And this is what I'm taking this. It is very heartbreaking when you are looking for the fruit and then you don't find none. Okay. And being the gardener in that. And he said, look, it said 3 years, 3 whole years. Now I got some more revelation on this, but I'm just going by what we got. 3 years. And of course, we know it ties into Torah. Is that right? What in Deuteronomy, it ties in to let us know what we should await and how long and all of that. Is that right? And he said, I have come seeing fruit of this fruit tree. And we know what he was talking about here, but I'm just kind of bringing it out. If those that are listening will allow me to, seeing a fruit on his fig tree and find none. So that's 3 whole years, this 3 whole years. So obviously at a period of time, cut it down, right? Just cut it down because you're not going to bet you're not doing anything. So we always looking, and why even make the ground, even the things around you just useless, right? Those things it's just useless. So, and he answered and said to him, Master, leave it. Now this is what it this is good here. It said, leave it this year too until I dig around it. And this is some of the things that you're saying. It's a build up moment, and it and then because we wanted to mature in some things, right? We want to do that. He said, I want to give it another chance here, one more chance. And I'm grateful for that. So even though sometimes in our lives we don't see the fruit or others don't see it, it's good to say that you have one more chance, And then not only that, but some people do not know how to produce the fruit that they have. It's a hindrance there. So this is when he's gonna see if he can get in there and make that thing work, right? And then he said, and then if it bears some fruit in there, okay, if it does it, then it's good. But if not so, I tell you what we'll do. After this year, then we'll just go ahead and cut it down. We'll go ahead and cut it down, right? So, and I'm like I say, I'm putting something else out of this in the fact that you have an opportunity, in that. So when things are looking, somebody coming to eat from your tree, and then year after year, but even though you want to cut it down, you have a right to do that, to cut it down, because it's fruitless, in that. But then he was saying in this parable, he was saying, and he was teaching, right? He was teaching in one of the congregations on what day? The Sabbath, right? He was teaching on the Sabbath. All right. And that's something that we look forward to, right? But he was teaching on the Sabbath. Remember that. That's very, very important, right? So I just kind of bringing this out for the scholaries that's there, because this is, when you read this, you'll see where he's going. You have to start at the beginning and who he's talking to and all of that. But like I say, I just wanted to bring this out to let us know that even though it seems like it's been 3 years or so, I want you to know the Father wants to give you another year in that. Dig around, work it out, see what you can do, see if it be able to mature in these things, right? See if we can work those things out, and that's what we want to do. All right, brother, how did you jump in there? If it triggered something that was in you.
Oh yeah, uh, that's my favorite type of encouragement.
Uh
'Cause
huh.
I think sometimes you see the end, and then it's probably just another start. So I love that. I love that. I love the treatment too. The idea of not to cut it down immediately, because we know if it's a new fruit tree, it should still have another year. You know,
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
so hopefully, you get that last tree. I mean, that last year. But the treating of the soil is what really got my attention. And I know often you're talking about the
Right.
roots, the roots, where your nutrients are coming from. So I really like that in the sense that the gardener knew where to start, and that just really encouraged me in the sense of, like you said, it may take some time,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
or even if you're ready to, this guy's ready to cut it down. Even the fruitlessness had become such a nuisance to the owner. He's done. He's like, we can do something better with this land. So when it's all, when we get to that point, and I love that because mercy is still given to fruitlessness. There's
Mm-hmm.
still
Mm-hmm.
for the fruitlessness to stop, to cease, and like tying that in with like what you were saying, what you're going to have the opportunity to draw somebody in, produce the fruit. If you're fruitless, you have an opportunity to get treated, for that last year of extra dedication and more attention, more focus, even, being more intentional, then it can produce the fruit, you know, Yah willing.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
love that in the sense that, when we think it's over, it may not be. It may just be another. We just got to have some patience. I love that. That was really good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And when it said that it keeps it. When I was kind of reading this, and somehow I don't want to force the scriptures into what we discussing, but it's so powerful in there that you seeking fruit and then didn't find none. So when someone, when we are representing the things of the kingdom, and then they are seeking something, and it is heartbreaking when you can't find none. That is very hard, and so we have to be ready. That's what I'm saying. We have to be ready in that, in that. So not one time did he expect olives from this fig tree. It only was expecting what the tree should have been. So we only expect out of one another what the Father desires for us, right? So he desire for us to do, say, to love one another, you know. So if I come to you and I see no love, be kind to one another. I come to you and there's no kindness, you know. If I come to you, there's no mercy, right? So there's times that I've come to you over and over and over again, and so when they come, they should be able to eat the fruit in its proper time. All right. So we always have to be ready. That's just the short version. Is I wasn't gonna be long tonight, but that I just wanted to kind of bring that out. And believe me, I could have brought this out when they're talking about, the Messiah. I could have tied it into the temple. I mean, you could go so many areas with this in that. But I wanted to if we don't get nothing else, to understand that whatever whatever tree you are, that's what you're gonna produce. And we could, I mean, I could go into the vine and all of that, and we are the branches. But I just wanted to kind of get a focus to let us know, if we don't remember nothing else, let this be a power up moment that people will come to you, just like if they was the gardener, that they'll come to you, and we have a desire. And that is our prayer for each and every one, and pray for another one, that when we come, that is something on your tree like that. you know, and that they can partake of. All right, brother, I'm gonna let you say a final word, and then we gonna get ready to close it out. We ain't gonna be long.
Oh yes, sir. You right when you said John 15, that's exactly what came to my mind. Like it's like as soon as you said, oh wait,
Uh,
John, no, but then you said we weren't. But that was really what stood out to me when you closed that just now. Just that the master didn't bring us in for us to remain on, just a bare vine, a
mm-hmm,
bare. Um, so the idea is for us to have something to show him, and he made it. There are things he requires of us. You
yeah,
brought up the kindness, the compassion. We should be the most forgiving people on the planet. Well,
mm-hmm,
grudges should. I think the Messiah also said that the world will know that you're mine by your love for one another. So even in the house, when people come in the house, they should see that this is a family. This is this is what I want. And I really believe that those are those good things. That's the light, those little sparks and embers that
mm-hmm.
cause people. And I love that. So in that sense, when you were bringing out the fruit and the fruitlessness, it's like, why would the Messiah do all this work for us to have nothing to show for it?
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that caused us to be attached into Him through His good works, through what He's done for us. So I just think when it's all said and done, the work He's doing for us is it's going to come to completion, and we all have to stand before judgment. So I just want us to have the opportunity to say, "Here, Master, I did right with what you gave me," and have that fruit to show. So I just think what you were bringing out there is awesome. I'm excited, and I believe, like you said, to pray for it in that sense of that the kingdom does bear its fruit. You know, so I'm excited for all those good things.
Right. And we can discover even from the beginning, a bird sheep from Genesis, right? It always been a tree, right? And you can learn a lot from trees as being examples. And you can go, if you go through there sometime, and if you would just go through our scriptures and look at what's around trees, what's the parable around trees, even from the beginning, eat of every tree, right? Eat of every tree. And the fig tree is from the ficus family, right? And that foliage is like that. So even though you're a Pacific tree, you can be related in the sense of as the body, right? You of the body. So it's just like, you have fingers, you have eyes, you have whatever. The same thing is, you have a fig tree, and it's of the, say the ficus family in that. And so we all, no matter what tree you have or what you're doing, you all have exhibit uniqueness in what you're doing, and we need your uniqueness. We need that. We need to eat of that and be able to eat of your talents and your treasures. One of the things I wanted to even bring up is, how, maybe next time or next time in our hearts that the Father say the same is something about, you know, should I forgive? How many times? And all those things. So all those things are there. But what we produce and come over. So let me go ahead. I didn't want to make sure I wanted to leave this. Check a note or two here. All right. I think that could say a lot more, but I just want to pour that out. If I open that up, I keep going in that. So, my brother, I thank you for it's been wonderful, and everyone that's joining us, and we'll listen to it. Hopefully, that you will pour from that. And just the main thing is to bear good fruit, right? To bear good fruit. In order for you to do that, you have to be doing something, and you have to be doing some works in order for that to happen in that. And you couldn't do it. So the challenge is to know So if I was to walk up to you and say, well, the fruit that you have, I should could eat from it, but you should also know what kind of tree you are. All right. And that way, you know, when the mercy comes of let me just dig around it, you know, let me just throw some. Yeah, go ahead. Did
Yeah,
you say
exactly.
something? Hmm.
Oh no, no, my bad. I was just ad libbing. That was
Oh,
great. That was
okay, yeah, yeah. All right, yeah. So all of those things are there. So we're gonna encourage you to do that and continue to build those things up. So grateful for all of you again. It's been wonderful. It was wonderful, and I'm looking forward to doing that again. So I don't know, maybe every week or something like that. Every other week, maybe once a month we can get somebody see to join us and just talk about the goodness of the Father in that.
uh,
So yeah, it'll be good, wouldn't it?
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, my brother. Well, I'm gonna say a good shalom to you, and want to continue to build on this week, and just realize and just kind of meditate and just trying to figure out what kind of tree you are that those can eat of. Because once you know what the treat is, then you know what you're producing, right? You're in expectation of it. So, all right, shalom, shalom.